Hi everyone, it's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. I'm here to show everyone the cardstock version of this page style right here. This one is using a paper bag, the Michaels Celebrated brand. For those of you who do not have access to these bags or prefer to use supplies you have on hand right now, here is the cardstock version. You can use either 12 by 12 or 8.5 by 11. I'm choosing to use 8.5 by 11 for this project, and I'm doing a red cardstock. And what you're going to do is you need two sheets, so I'm going to go ahead and cut them both down to 7.5 inches. Okay, so 7.5 inches for both. You can use these for tags or whatever you'd like, or for your tabs for the top of your page would be perfect for that. And then you're going to take one sheet and cut it at 7.25 inches. Okay, and the other sheet down to 6.25 inches. All right, 6.25 inches on that second sheet of paper. So you have one that measures 6.25 by 7.5, and then another one that measures 7.5 by 7.25. Okay, so let's put our paper trimmer to the side, and now let's get our scoring board. So we're going to score both sheets. We're going to start with the one that measures 7.25 inches wide. Okay, so starting on that 7.25 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, so 1/2 inch, and then at 6 3/4 inches. Okay, then you're going to rotate onto the 7.5 inch side, and you're going to score at 6.25 inches. Okay, now for this one right here that measures 6.25 inches wide, you're just going to rotate that onto the 7.5, and you're going to score at 6.25 inches. So that's all there is to it, guys. Super easy for this cardstock base. You're going to start working with the one that has the flaps. So let's go ahead and fold on all of our score marks, the two side ones, and you can go ahead and fold this bottom one if you'd like. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and taper or make a cut at the very bottom score mark. Okay, very bottom score mark, you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut that off, and you're going to remove this tiny little flap right here. We do not need it, so let's get rid of that. So this is what you get rid of right there. Okay, now what we're going to do is apply tape to the flaps while they're in the folded position. So go ahead and fold those flaps, and let's apply some score tape to either side. Okay, just like so, and just like so. The next step is going to be to go ahead and taper at each end, just because you're going to get a nice clean finish. So taper those edges on both ends, just to cut at a slight angle. That's all I mean by taper. Okay, so you want to taper on all 4 sides. Okay, just like so. Now you're going to want to remove the tape backing, and all you're going to do is you're going to stick one side down and then the other side down. Okay, just like so. You're going to stick them both sides. The score mark, remember, you're going to match the score mark with the score mark at the bottom. And I like to work from the top down because I get a nice, clean, straight pocket. If I work from the bottom up, for some reason, I never get it straight on. So from the top, line it up at the top, nice and straight. And then I tend to work my way to the bottom, just like so. So I get a nice pocket, and it's open at the end. Don't worry about that. The reason why I have these 2 flaps down here is because remember how we had our flaps and we glued them down together? And I want to continue on that, because if we just have one, it's going to be thin, okay, right here, and your project is going to look kind of weird. So you definitely want to have the 2 flaps, and you're going to hot glue these together, and you're going to want to hot glue it pretty close to the fold so you can seal the pocket at the bottom. Okay, so pretty close to the fold, just like we did with the paper bags. And this will ensure that you get a nice even project and you do not have to worry about it being too thin down here at the bottom. All right, so that's it. That's all there is to it. The measurements are identical to the paper bag ones. It'll fit perfectly in your project. As you can see, you still get that tiny bit of width on either side. So you're going to follow the same steps, see, from top to bottom, identical. So you don't have too much waste. What you can do with these pieces is you can make your tabs. And I showed this on one of the, about a month ago. If you look at my old videos on a full album when I introduced the small spine. So you can go ahead and make the tabs, and I'll show you how I did those. You're going to need 2-inch squares, okay, 2 by 2 inch squares. Then you're going to score, all right. This is how I do my tabs. I will just put it out there and say, I don't know if anybody did a tab like this already, but this is how I do my tabs. So I'm sharing this with you all here. You're going to score on clearly 2-inch side, because this is a 2-inch square, at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 1.5 inches, okay? And I love this tool. This is the Martha Stewart bone folder. It has a very nice sharp tip, so it gets really good into those grooves, okay? So love to use that with my Martha Stewart scoring board. So now you're going to go ahead and fold on your score marks, okay? And you're going to apply some tape. You're going to see you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces according to the series of score marks that you have there. And you're going to apply tape on the very bottom one, the very top one, and then you're going to have 2 spaces in between, and you're going to pick one or the other. It doesn't matter which one, either or works for this one. So you're going to have tape, tape, no tape, and then tape again. Okay, you're going to remove the tape from the center piece, fold that in half, just like that, and there's your tab. And then this piece right here with the 2 pieces of tape goes on your mat. So let's get the 6x6 mat. I know I should have one cut around here somewhere. Let's see, right here. So you get your 6x6 mat, and it goes right there, and you stick it on. Now you can, if you have corner chompers or any kind of corner punch, you can go ahead and make decorative edges with this. You can make a stub edge or the deco edge. You can make a rounded tab if you like. Or my favorite, you can go ahead and make the scallop. Do I use the scallop? Yeah, the scallop side gives you a really nice decorative finish. You can see it's full there. I can barely get my tab in. So you can make a scallop edge and you get a fantastic looking tab. Custom tab, you can make them as long or as short as you like. Okay, so just a small use there for your scraps. Okay, and you want to go ahead and just lay one side, sandwich it in between that photo mat, that piece of cardstock. And there's your tab. Okay, how sweet is that? Now you're going to want a mat over that. Okay, so let's get a quick mat right here. And let's do this one, and look at how sweet that looks. So these are 6x6 mats. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this down a tiny bit to, oh, I did that just a little too much, darn it. But that's all right, I'll live. It's supposed to be 5 3/4 inches square, and I went a little bit crazy, so that'll work still nonetheless. No big deal, but you want to trim it down at least 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around, just on 2 sides, and that'll make it perfect. And there's your photo mat, and you're going to see how nicely it fits inside your pocket. So the photo mat, you definitely want to go for the 12 by 12 size, because you can get 4 out of 1 sheet. Okay, and then go ahead and burnish that. You see you got yourself a nice little tab with your scraps, and this is what it looks like when you put it inside your sheet, inside your page. Okay, so there is the page made out of cardstock. Follow the video 1 and 2 for the same exact assembly. I think it's essential to have both pieces here so you can get a nice symmetrical piece on the bottom and at the top. It won't be too thin at the bottom and too thin at the top. I had a couple of questions on the previous videos. One of the ladies asked if Rub and Buff rubs off. No, it dries completely, okay? It will not rub off, so you won't have any embarrassing moments when you hand your gift. So that works perfectly well. And another lady had a question on the belly band. So let's assume this is our belly band and we have a seam. Let's assume this is our seam right here. Okay, that's our seam. I talked about placing your seam. Okay, so there's my seam. Let me just stress it a little bit so you can see the seam really well. Okay, I don't have the right sponge on, so I don't want to mess up my sponge. So let me just stress it just a little bit. Okay, just like that. So let's assume this is our seam when you join your two pieces of paper together, right? Just like so. You're going to place your seam at the 6-inch mark, okay? Your seam will be at the 6-inch mark. So you're not going to score over 2 3/4 inches. No, ma'am. You're going to score over to the 2 3/4 inch mark, okay? So you're going to score at 2 3/4 inches, okay? 2 3/4 inches. And then you're going to score at 9 1/4 inches. So essentially, you're scoring over 3 1/4 inches on either side, okay? So the correct scoring mark will be 2 3/4 inches to the left, and then 9 1/4 inches to the right, okay? So that'll give you a 6 1/2 inch width, okay? Which will wrap nicely around your project with a little wiggle room. All right, so the seam at the 6-inch mark, and you're going to score 3 1/4 inches to the left and 3 1/4 inches to the right. Those scoring numbers are 2 3/4 inches and then 9 1/4 inch, okay? And then the second score mark will be a 1/2 inch to the left and a 1/2 inch to the right, which will give you that nice gusset, which will allow you to wrap your piece all the way around your project. Okay, so those are the score marks, and let's assume this is the belly band. Okay, and you see how that wraps nicely around your project? So seam, again, at the 6-inch mark. So you're giving yourself a span of 6 1/2 inches. I hope this answered your question. I hope you enjoy making this project with cardstock if you don't have access to this, to the paper bag. So quick and easy project for you all, guys. Perfect for the gift giving season. I can't wait to show you what else I have up my sleeve. I have 2 more projects for you. Think Santa letters. Hopefully I'll be able to get that all done for you tomorrow. This is Kathy with Paper Phenomenon, and until next time,